Welcome back to the Kino Cave, everybody, and a very happy new year to you all. I hope that you all had a pleasant holiday and a happy new year. And here's the 2026. Let's get the ball rolling straight away into 2026. Hopefully, there'll be more stuff to come very soon, and hopefully, the upload schedule will be a bit more consistent. I'm optimistic about 2026, guys. Let's make it better, all right? Let's make it better than 2025. I had a shitty 2025, so let's aim higher this year, okay? And first cab off the rank for 2026 is looking back. So let's talk about my top 10 movies of 2025 with a few honorable mentions thrown in there as well. So before I get into it, I didn't see every movie in 2025. I squeezed in a couple of the ones I was excited to see but didn't get around to just before the end of the year. And there's a couple of movies that didn't come out, or they had like a week-long release, or they just haven't come out yet. I'm really excited to see Hamnet, but it's not out for another few days here in Ireland, so I just couldn't get to seeing everything that I reckon would probably be on this list. So also, I'm just bad at watching new movies. I'm bad at doing it. Alright, I work a lot and I have stuff going on outside of work, so I don't always get to the cinema every single week, and it feels like there's a movie every single week that I have to see to talk about. So if a movie that seems really obvious isn't on this list, it's because I didn't get around to it, probably. Without further ado, let's get into some honorable mentions. These are movies that I watched and I enjoyed and I feel deserve a mention. Because also, I don't really review new movies anymore. I did for a bit when I started out, but I don't like talking about new movies because I feel like I don't get my thoughts across very well. If I had to talk about The Flash or Oppenheimer or Barbie again, it would be very different. Let's put it that way. So you can take these 15 movies as mini reviews for them after a lot of contemplation. First honorable mention is Predator Killer of Killers. I watched this on holiday in Lanzarote in June when I was like hungover as balls. I could not get myself up off of like the couch in the room, so I turned on my laptop and I decided to watch Predator Killer of Killers before going out to like the beach or whatever. And I really enjoyed it. It kind of brought me back to life a little bit that day. So the animation is really awesome. I like the idea of jumping around between time periods. I gave it a very generous score on Letterboxd when I first watched it. That probably would go down because I don't really feel like rewatching it, and I think the structure of it maybe fails it a little bit. I feel like I would watch just the sequence with like the samurai, or just the sequence with the Viking, but watching it all like together in like a 90-minute movie, it's a bit jumping around too much and a bit structurally unsatisfying, shall we say. So I enjoyed it, but it probably would get worse on a rewatch. Next up is Fantastic Four First Steps. Marvel's in an interesting place right now, isn't it? More on that later this year, I hope. But as for Fantastic Four First Steps, it's more creative than a lot of the other stuff that they've done in the last few years. I like the retro-futuristic look to the movie. I think that the design of the sets and stuff is all very good, and I like the set design, the production design, and that kind of thing, and the costuming is very, very good, but it is let down by very poor color grading and cinematography, some very questionable CGI, and a very weak as piss plot, and very weak as piss world building as well. I kind of don't like this world that they've set up, where everything is perfect, and I guess they're probably gonna come into the MCU now. Ugh. Okay, it's going to come into the MCU, and I guess that's going to be their main universe where they're going to have to try harder to fix it. Maybe that's the idea of setting up this perfect world that they came from. But the problem is that this perfect world that they came from is not interesting. You're saying that you can, by the way, minor spoilers for all of these movies, I guess. But you're trying to say that like every single country on Earth is just going to willingly start setting up teleportation devices across the entire globe to move it 3 inches to the left. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I get that that's the point, because this is a different world and a better world, because Sue Storm said let's all work together or whatever, but that's not satisfying to me. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Good looking movie for the most part. good performances all around. I like all these actors in other things, but I do like all of these actors, and I guess I'm excited to see where they go in the future. I don't know. Apparently, they're not going to have that big a role in the movie where their main villain is the main villain of the movie. So let's see. Next up in an honorable mentions is The Naked Gun. Another hangover watch for me, actually. I had a really shitty week one week, and I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to spend my entire Saturday in the cinema. Girlfriend's at work, got nothing else going on. I'm just going to spend the whole day in the cinema. I watched The Naked Gun, The Materialists, and the third Harry Potter film on a re-release. So yeah, I watched those movies, and again, Naked Gun was a hangover watch for me, and it was a lot of fun. It was the most fun I had that day in the cinema. I had a great time with it. Some of that Seth MacFarlane humor is in there, which I actually like. I'm a bit of a Family Guy fan, sort of. Some of it hasn't aged very well, but I like some of Family Guy because I kind of grew up on it a bit. So, yeah, I enjoyed a lot of it. Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are very, very good in the movie, and I thought it was just a fun, funny movie to just kind of sit in front of. And it's like 80 minutes long. It's great for that. I love that about it. And I would absolutely watch it again. I would watch it again on just a day when I'm feeling kind of depressed and I just need a little laugh. Next up on the honorable mentions is Predator Badlands. I had a great time with this movie. It's not changing the game. It's not going to really change your life or anything like that, but it is a fun A to B to C movie, and I really enjoyed that about it. I thought that it's Elle Fanning, I think. I always get confused between the Fannings, but Elle Fanning is fantastic as the android in the movie. I thought she was a lot of fun, and I really like the main character just being a predator who's kind of a himbo. Like he just is stumbling his way through this planet trying to prove something to his father and all that kind of thing. I had a lot of fun with a lot of it, and yeah, it's a good fun movie, and I'd watch it again if I was again just looking for a good time. Last up on the honorable mentions list is Thunderbolts * The New Avengers, sort of. Probably the best MCU movie of the year. I didn't see Captain America 4 because it looked terrible and everybody said that it was terrible. So I watched Thunderbolts, and yeah, it's the best of the year in terms of Marvel. I thought that it took some swings. I like that they kind of do callbacks to the previous Avengers movie, like the first Avengers movie, but it's with these broken people who are all just kind of the Winter Soldier copy and pasted like over and over again. But that's alright, because I think they did something interesting with them. These are all people who, they're not like the Avengers. They're not these fully formed people. These are the leftovers, the scraps of superheroes. Half of them are just super soldiers, like, who are copying Captain America, which I thought was alright. David Harbour and Florence Pugh are excellent in the movie. I like Sebastian Stan for what he's doing, but he is clearly getting increasingly bored with being in these movies. But I think that kind of works for the character, actually, so I didn't mind it. I like Bob, or Sentry, or the Void, or whatever you want to call him. I thought he was pretty cool and pretty interesting, and yeah, I like how it talks about depression and serious subjects, which Marvel movies either don't do or they immediately punctuate it with a joke, which, don't worry, there's a lot of that in this as well. There's a lot of just punctuating serious scenes with a joke because that's the formula at this point, but there's less of it, and I think it does actually take a swing and a stab at talking about these issues and covering them in a genuine way. So yeah, I definitely had a much better time with it, and it made me think a little bit. It's been a good long while since a new Marvel movie has made me think, and for that I applaud it. Honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the top 10 movies of 2025, according to your boy, Mr. Kino. Can I pull off your boy? I feel like I could have maybe 3 years ago. Number 10 is Weapons, directed by Zach Krieger, and this is one of those watches that I squeezed in at the very end of 2025. I did not get around to watching it on release, and I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought it was a fun, kind of funny little horror movie. I think some of the character work wasn't great. I didn't love the teacher, Miss Candy, and I think Josh Brolin's character is kind of carried by its performance. By the way, bad writing being carried by a good performance is the theme of 2025, as you'll come to see from me as we go down this list. However, Gladys, the actor's name escapes me at the moment, but she was excellent. I thought she was a really fun villain, shades of like kind of Pennywise sometimes, and characters like that. She feels like a Stephen King character, you know. It really had a fun, really a good time with that character because she's funny, but she's also scary when she needs to be. Um, and I like the little kid. I forget his name. It's Alex or something like that. I like that kid a lot. That actor is excellent, and that is a character that I think is written very well in the movie. Actually, I like his struggle throughout the movie, coping with what's going on. I'm trying to be mostly spoiler free with weapons because there's a lot of twists and turns it takes, and I think you should genuinely just go watch it because I didn't know about a lot of these twists and turns going into it, and I had a great time, especially with the ending. So go into it completely blind if you haven't been spoiled already, please. Number 9, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So I had a great time with this. It's silly, it's stupid, it's kind of like an 80s action movie, like a bad 80s action movie at times, but I think I really like these characters, and I just like Tom Cruise in this role, and I think that's just kind of what saves a lot of this for me. It's just kind of fun. It very much goes from like A to B to C, but I don't know. I think all the actors are just very good at doing what they're doing in the movie. It's hard to talk about this one actually because it's been so long. Because this is like back in May when I watched this movie, and I haven't watched it again since. But yeah, I think a lot of the action scenes are very, very good. You know, a lot of it is kind of like the callbacks are heavy with this movie. Sometimes a little too heavy, and so that stuff I kind of didn't really enjoy. But I enjoyed like the biplane sequence. I know everybody makes fun of their hair, and to be honest, I would take him having that hilarious like Three Stooges hair over the haircut that he actually has throughout the movie because it's not great. However, I really like that biplane sequence. I think it's so much fun, and I like that it's colorful. It's not just two gray fucking fighter jets. It's a yellow plane and a red plane, and it's a lot of fun, and we're over a green background, so popping with color. I absolutely loved all that. And yeah, it's just a fun movie. It's a bit long for my liking, and the callbacks are way too much, but I would watch it again. So go based off of that, I guess. Number 8, a bit divisive this one, is Wicked for Good. Once again, we are carried by two excellent lead performances with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, and I think even Ethan Slater does very well. Jonathan Bailey is excellent, despite they seemingly pasting over the genuinely excellent makeup with CGI. That's unfortunate, but I enjoyed this movie. I don't know, I had a really good time with it. My score on Letterboxd again feels kind of generous now with a bit of... See, this is my problem. This is why I don't review new movies. I probably would have like ranted and raved about how much I loved it the next day, but now with a bit of time I'm like, some of the stuff, you know, wasn't as good as maybe I thought it was, because I guess I just had a really good time with this. The performances are excellent. I like the songs. I already like the musical. I know like this is what everybody has said, but if you like the musical, you're probably going to like this. And yeah, obviously, I liked the musical when I saw it. I liked the first Wicked. So I liked this, largely because I guess I knew what I was getting into when watching it. And I like the new songs. I don't really like No Place Like Home that much. I wouldn't really listen to that one voluntarily. But I like the Girl in the Bubble song. And a lot of people complain about the visual and the cinematography of that. I think it's good. I like it. I like the way it goes between all the mirrors and stuff. I think that's fun. I don't know, at least it's interesting, right? It's not just like flat fucking medium shots, which is like half the movies on this list. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like I've spent this whole segment talking about Wicked for Good just defending myself for liking it. But, you know, I'm okay with liking it. I'm okay with enjoying it. I like musicals, alright? That's my kind of thing. I'm into this. I don't know, I like this kind of movie. So, yeah, I had a good time with Wicked for Good. I totally get, though, the idea that, well, if you liked it already, then you're gonna like it. And if you didn't like the first one and hadn't seen the musical already, then you're probably not gonna have as good a time with this. Number 7 on my list is Superman, and the name of the game is saving poor writing with great performances. And let the comments begin. If this video does any traction whatsoever. So look, this is James Gunn's Superman, and pretty much everything I was expecting was kind of confirmed. Look, I had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie has great rewatch value. I'm having so much fun. Like, I've seen it like 3 times, alright? I bought it on 4K and stuff, and I rewatched it twice since I bought it. And yeah, I have a great time with it every single time. If anything, this is a film that improves for me the more I watch it. I came out of it with like a 3.5, and I've bumped it up to a 4 since on Letterboxd. Not that any of that really matters, but and every subsequent rewatch, I have a better time with Superman. Superman is easily like the most controversial one on this list. I think the writing could do with some work. I don't think James Gunn is good at writing a character like Superman, and that is what I was thinking going in. And yeah, this is now me going in because I wanted to hate it or whatever, but sure. I went in wanting to love this, alright? I wish I did. I was really optimistic actually the week I went into this. He's very good at doing something very specific. You can see it in Scooby-Doo, you can see it in Guardians, you can see it in The Suicide Squad, and I can even see it in Superman. The problem is Superman's not the kind of character who is a broken human being who needs to find a family. That's not that character. However, David Corenswet is incredible as Superman. He just is Superman. He is the successor to Christopher Reeve, in my opinion. He is the best to have done it since. I love Henry Cavill as the character. I think he did excellent, like, as that take on Superman. I like a lot of the TV versions. I like Tom Welling. I like Tyler Hoechlin. I hope I pronounced that right. I like a lot of the previous Superman actors. I don't think there's necessarily a terrible one. I even like Brandon Routh's version. Yeah, Dean Cain isn't great, I guess. But I think David Corenswet just is the new Superman now. I think that's just the way it is. He is perfect as this character. Rachel Brosnahan is perfect as Lois Lane. And Nicholas Hoult is easily the best Lex Luthor on screen. Alright? That is my truth. Alright? Like, he is incredible. And he also saves a lot of very shoddy dialogue. The visuals of this movie are very hit or miss. Some of it looks very The Flash. Some of it looks a little bit more, you know, Guardians 3 or something, I guess. Yeah, some of it is interesting, some of it isn't very interesting. Some of it looks great, some of it does not look so good. However, I do like a lot of what this movie has going for it. It's a very fast-paced movie. I can't help but just have a great time when we get to the end and punk rocker's playing. I'm going to be trimming down this section a lot in the edit. Let's move swiftly on from Superman, because I feel like that movie just needs its own video whenever. Maybe when Man of Tomorrow comes out next year, I'll make a Superman retrospective or something. Number 6, 28 Years Later, a movie I feel like I won't get shot at for saying that I liked. Yeah, I really like 28 Years Later. I thought it was brilliant. I get why people don't like it. It's kind of a movie that you really have to, like, approach on its own terms in terms of enjoyment, but I thought it was great. I thought that the emotional moments really hit. I thought all the actors were excellent, especially the kid who plays Spike. He's great. I love Ralph Fiennes in the movie. I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson does very well in the movie. There's an actress whose name escapes me, because I'm terrible with this kind of stuff, so she will be named and pictured here. She's excellent in the movie, and I'm super excited to see the next one in like a couple of weeks. I'm really jonesing for that movie. I can't wait to see this kind of trilogy, I guess, unfold as it goes on. I hope it makes money, because I want to see the third one of this as well whenever that comes out. I am super excited for more 28 Years Later, and yeah, I had a great time with this movie. I can't wait to watch it again ahead of watching the new one, because that ending as well, just so much fun. I loved it. Number 5 is Begonia, and this is going to be a difficult one to talk about without necessarily spoiling, but I love Yorgos Lanthimos. Poor Things is like one of my favorites of the last 5 years, like of the 2020s. Poor Things has to be one of my favorite films of his. I think it was very near the top of my list of 2023 movies, and yeah, I had a great time with Begonia. I think that Lanthimos and Emma Stone are just having a great time making movies together. I think that they work really well off of each other, that direction and that acting. Emma Stone is easily my favorite actress, I think, at the moment. She's excellent in this, and so is Jesse Plemons, and all the actors in this. I can't remember anybody else's name because he hires a lot of unknowns a lot of the time as well. It's a hard one to talk about the plot of this movie because I genuinely don't want to spoil any of the twists and turns because I think that it is kind of interesting and a lot of the time it can go either way in terms of what the actual deal is and what's going on and not that kind of thing. So I don't want to spoil too much of it. But yeah, I think this is an interesting movie and it brings up a lot of interesting topics that you can kind of think about. And a lot of it has to do with conspiracy theories and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of hilarious moments when it comes to like the conspiracy theory aspect of it. And there's a lot of funny moments in general with this movie. So yeah, it's a great time and it makes you think a little bit. And it's got that signature Lanthimos kind of weirdness to it, which is what I've always loved about his movies. Coming in at number 4 is One Battle After Another. This is another one I squeezed into the end of the year because I didn't get a chance to see it in the cinema. And I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't because this movie was awesome. I didn't really expect to love it as much as I did. I always get weird like that when people are like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever and you need to watch it. And then I watch it and I'm like, yeah man, cool. I don't know. I feel like I hate expectations. Like that just, it kills my enjoyment of a movie. Because then I feel like I either have to enjoy it or I have to hate it. And there's no in between. I like just going into a movie and just getting out of it what I get out of it. And I got a lot out of One Battle After Another. However, it is a bit too long, I think. Way too fucking long. Like, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's very fast moving, although I feel like a lot of the first 20 minutes could have been cut out, and we would have had a more succinct, more kind of fun A to B, like, one-day movie. I think that would have been a lot more fun, but anyway, that's minor gripes. DiCaprio was incredible. Benicio del Toro was incredible. The actress who plays Willa is awesome as well. Again, I can't remember her name for the life of me. Sean Penn is hilarious in this movie. This is a very fun, very funny, but also like thought-provoking movie at the same time. And it's interesting. It's an interesting one to sit on as well. It's very relevant, obviously. Like, the relevance of this movie is actually insane. I saw some reviews saying that this movie could have been written yesterday, considering how relevant it actually is. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Coming in at number 3 is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Another slightly controversial one. A lot of people don't like how this adapts the book and stuff. To those people I say, stop being so like... stop being so weird and pedantic about it. I don't know, I had a great time with this movie. I thought it was, great. I thought it was emotionally impactful. I thought it looked incredible. The acting is fantastic in it. Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi especially, but also Mia Goth and all the other actors in this movie. I thought they were all excellent. It adapts the book pretty well, especially in terms of story, but this isn't Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. At least they didn't put the fucking author's name in the book and then do a shoddy adaptation, because they did that a lot in the 90s. This is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, alright? This is his version of the story, and I loved it. It is very Guillermo del Toro, obviously. It is taking the plot of Frankenstein and applying that del Toro to it. And I can see his passion in every frame of this movie. I really enjoyed it. I watched it twice. Once by myself in the cinema. I managed to catch it in the cinema because it was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And then I watched it again at home with my girlfriend, and she loved it as well. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. And you can nitpick it to death, sure, that it's not exactly like the book, or that it's not as deep as the book. But again, this is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Anyway, rant over. Number 2, less controversial, are my top 2 picks, and my top 2 picks are very interchangeable. I go back and forth a lot. It was very difficult to pick these two. But at number 2 is Wake Up Dead Man. The latest Knives Out movie from Rian Johnson. I have loved every single one of these movies, and I've managed to catch all of them in the cinema, thankfully. Please do a physical release of Glass Onion and Wake Up Dead Man, by the way. I love Knives Out when I watched it. I didn't know what to expect from it. I didn't even realize it was The Last Jedi guy when I went to see it. I just wanted to see it because it was like Chris Evans and Jamie Lee Curtis, which is like the best feeling in the world when you go to see a movie because you like a director or an actor or something and you don't know what to expect, and then you come out just like blown away by it. which is exactly what I felt with Knives Out. I loved it. And then I went to see Glass Onion because, again, I recognized Ryan Johnson, and I recognized Daniel Craig, and I knew kind of what this movie was going to be. It was going to be like a pseudo sequel, but also a bit of an anthology. And I loved it. I don't get the hate for Glass Onion, honestly. Like, yeah, it might be the weakest of the three, I guess, but I love watching Glass Onion in the summertime. It is so much fun, so funny, and just like it's a blast from start to finish. However, Wake Up Dead Man, I think, is my favorite of the trilogy for very specific reasons. I honestly think any one of these could be anybody's favorite, and I'd understand it. Glass Onion is my girlfriend's favorite because it has a lot of the kind of stuff that she likes in it. However, in Wake Up Dead Man, especially the religious angle of the whole thing, I absolutely loved it. I kind of love movies that tackle religion and use kind of religion in their stories because that's very personal to me. So I love when a movie kind of gets into that and gets into the nitty gritty of it. And I think it works excellently. I think the whole cast is brilliant. Daniel Craig actually takes like a back seat in this movie, which I think is great. We get to know Josh O'Connor's character, Father Judd, and we get to know Josh Brolin's character and Glenn Close's character and all of these people. Some of them aren't as prevalent as others. Andrew Scott kind of takes a back seat and that kind of thing, but I think that a lot of this movie just works so well. I think it was great. It's so much fun. Again, this is another movie I've actually seen twice in like a month because I watched it in cinemas with my girlfriend and we came out absolutely loving it and raving about it. And then I figured that my dad would really like it, so we watched it on Christmas Day, and it was so much fun as well because he got a lot out of it too. So yeah, I can rant and rave and like talk about Ryan Johnson's Knives Out movies all day long because I love them so much. But honestly, you should just go into them and get what you get out of it. Someday I'll make a video about each of them, maybe when the next one comes out, but we'll see. I feel like I'm making a lot of empty promises in this video. And at number one, and again, this could be tied with Wake Up Dead Man really, but my number one movie of 2025 is Ryan Coogler's Sinners. This film blew me away. I didn't even expect to like go see this. I know when like some of the shots came out, like, you know, from the trailer and stuff. I didn't watch the trailer because I tried to not to watch trailers. When some of these shots came out of like Haley Steinfeld as like, you know, a vampire and that kind of thing, and Michael B. Jordan as twins and that kind of thing. When I started seeing some of this, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I might see this or whatever. And then closer to release, more of it started to look like good and better and stuff. And then when it came out, people were talking about how incredible it is and that kind of thing. So I was like, fuck it, I have to see this. And I went into it and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. There's so much in this movie that I kind of want to get into in its own video. So I will be very brief and I will try not to give away anything because I do, honest to God, want to make a video about Sinners on its own because, especially as an Irishman, there's a lot of depth to this concerning colonialism and like the way the Irish people have been treated in their own home country and in America and all over the world. There's just so much to unpack here, and I think all of it is excellent. But if you don't want to unpack that, and if you want to just have a action vampire movie with some incredible music, you can really just flick this movie on and go through it and just have a great time and not think about all of that. But then when you want to unpack it, pick it apart and like look at all the different like representations and themes and stuff in it. And also, what a cast. What an incredible cast. Jack O'Connor, I can't remember which. He's brilliant in the movie. I loved his character. I loved Remick. Michael B. Jordan is amazing. The technology that they used for capturing Michael B. Jordan twice, I mean, some of it is just showing off. It's amazing. I cannot believe how amazing it was. And every actor in this is incredible. To be honest, all of these characters, like, all these actors' names have gone out of my head because it's been like, again, this is another movie I've seen twice since it came out. Again, once in the cinema and then once at home when I bought the 4K. But yeah, I absolutely loved it and I can't wait to watch it again, honestly. Talking about it now makes me want to watch it again. So whenever I get a chance, I might have to give it another rewatch. But yeah, Sinners, man. I feel like I've just been like bleh about this movie. This is why I don't talk about new movies, because it's just this, isn't it? This is what I did when I talked about new movies. um, but I just watch Sinners. Go watch it. Do it. Get your own opinion. But it's incredible. It's an amazing movie. Really incredible. And again, it's a little bit between Wake Up Dead Man and this, but Sinners is probably my best movie of 2025, and I hope it gets all the Oscars. Fuck it. And Ryan Coogler, I cannot wait to see what you do next. I cannot wait to see the next project. With all of that said, I feel like there was more rambling in this than I thought there was going to be. I thought, nice, easy, like 10-minute long video to come into 2025, and I've been recording for like 40 minutes. So let's see what this turns out to be by the end of it. But with all that said, what are your top 5, 10, 15 favorite movies of 2025? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Are there any movies that I didn't see in 2025 that you think I should? Or maybe there are movies that I've seen that are just not on this list, materialists. So, yeah, let me know down below what are your movie recommendations from 2025? What do you think I should see? There's a few things like, again, I really wanted to see Hamnet. I really wanted to see Die My Love, but it was out for a week, and I just didn't get to see it that week, and then it was gone out of the cinema, and it's not available on home media yet. So what are we doing? I need to see it. I've heard a lot of great things about Lynn Ramsey, and I want to see the movie. For more videos like this, guys, subscribe, and again, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this video, on 2025 in terms of movies as a whole. And I look forward to more videos in 2026. I've got some ideas, some really fun ideas, and I hope to execute them very, very soon. So hopefully I'll see you soon, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the movies.